All right, we are live and ready to go here from Senatobia, Mississippi. So Wyatt Moses steps in, sees a pitch. I am John Benuzowitz, and I am joined by my dad, also named John Benuzowitz. Dad, how are you?
Let me check. Just fine, thanks.
Dad resides in Olive Branch, Mississippi, just up the road. Retired, so got some time on his hands. And Wyatt Moses grounds too short, throwing to first for the out. So in the neighborhood-ish, and it was a nice day. Came on out. I said, shoot, I got no one to talk to. Come on. So here we are. Thanks for joining me, Dad.
Oh, hey, happy to be here. I'll be home listening anyway, so why not be here right beside you?
Things have a tall task ahead of them today. First of three for the varsity against pretty much consensus Mississippi #1 team, Magnolia Heights.
Yeah, this place is a powerhouse.
That is Axel Maddox ripping a single into center field. Our setup on what can only be described as a grassy knoll.
Yep.
Nowhere close to the camera. Got a distant but pretty good view of the plate. It's the closest I've come to being able to see third base here.
Yeah, almost. You can see the third base coach and the third baseman.
Swing and a miss from Craw Porter, 3-hole hitter. Fooled on that one, on ahead of it for strike two.
Way out in front. You're thinking this and he throws that. That's what's going to happen.
Why changing speeds, going slower is every bit as important as throwing it as fast as you can.
That's what brought the changeup into popularity.
Lays off pitch low. See several fine actors making their way in front of us as seniors had their play over the weekend. That ball gets past. Plenty of room, by the way, behind the backstop. Catchers need to be on point. A pass ball is pretty much guaranteed a base. That's why it takes second. Senior play was very good. Foul tip hung on to for the strikeout. Bring up Braden Goss, who the last game I saw, he was the one that there was a foul ball into the dugout and he took one off the wrist.
Oh.
And a nice little golf ball on there, but he's all right. Said that he had only hit his wrist because he was blocking his face. So,
well, I think he chose wisely.
Yeah, he did, and yep, didn't tickle, but no worse for wear.
Oh,
stays back on the off-speed. That's left fielder was playing way shallow. That's way over his head. Goss thinking extra bases. Slide in for the RBI double as the Mustangs are on the board. Wyatt Moses crosses the plate.
He could have gone in standing. You gave that one a ride.
It was that off speed that we were saying can be so effective, but if you wait back on it, it's a lot easier to get a great swing on. So good piece of hitting by Goss there as the Mustangs on top, and Zach Russell looking to switch places with him. Sees a ball inside.
Well, Ted Williams always said that hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in professional sports. You've got no time to make up your mind.
Ball is popped up to first. Calling off is that second baseman? Can see where he came from, but some middle infielder came and
The second baseman.
Okay, yeah, for the third out, but not for the Mustangs score one. Bring up Ted Williams. I'm a Red Sox fan because dad grew up in the Boston area.
This is true.
I inherited that. Mom's a Cardinals fan. So how's that Red Sox whooping up on the Cardinals this weekend? How did that go?
I rather enjoyed it. It wasn't unanimous in the household.
I don't want to complain about World Series victories, but Sox had a couple against the Cardinals as I was growing up, and as great as it was always kind of,
Well, my favorite, though, was 1967, where the Red Sox were in a 4-team race that went down to the last day of the season. In fact, passed the Red Sox last game because they had to wait and see how the Tigers did. Because all 4 teams were in it going into the weekend, and you either finished first or you went home.
Yeah, this was the World Series was just American League winner, and National League winner.
None of this playoffs
nonsense.
Right. And so the Red Sox carried them to 7 games. Unfortunately, Jim Lonborg, their Red Sox ace pitcher, had a pitch on the final day of the season, and he won with a complete game. They carried him off the field and all that stuff. But that meant, they didn't wait 4 days for the World Series or whatever. I mean, they had to start the World Series, and so he didn't get to pitch in Game 1, and that threw everything off. It could have been Lonborg against Bob Gibson in 1, 4, and 7, or however it would have worked out. But the Red Sox had to face Gibson in Game 1, and the Cardinals only had to face Jose Santiago. Long story short, Red Sox still took him to 7 games. Lonborg tried to pitch on 2 days rest, but he just didn't have anything, and the Cardinals took it.
Ball inside. As McCraw Porter's on the mound. Yeah, lots of Cardinals Red Sox history.
Oh, yeah.
But, you mentioned, you didn't match up 1-1. That Gibson kind of got the feast on, the remnants of the rotation. That's something you see in high school. It's kind of a gamesmanship thing. If someone's got one good starter, there's kind of a little cat and mouse, are we going to throw our best? Or if we're trying to take the series, do we just kind of, concede, maybe throw our 3, and then just go try to get the doubleheader?
Well, the Cardinals weren't in a race at that point late in the season, so they could stack their rotation the way they wanted it before the World Series. So the Red Sox didn't have that luxury.
On the ground, past the infield, left side. CNI single there.
Yeah. Nice play in the hold there. Almost got it, but he wouldn't have had a chance with the throw.
He wouldn't have.
That was a hit all the way.
Yep. Going against the base. That's Jackson Dunn at short. We'll go through the infield. It's like Axel Maddox gets the start behind the plate. First, Zach Russell. Second, Tate McClellan. Short, Jackson Dunn. Third, Braden Goss. Left field, Miller Calhoun. Center field, Wyatt Moses. Checking on the runner is the pitcher, McCraw Porter. And in right field, Braxton Harper. Kind of a pitch out there. Up and ready to fire is Axel. Nothing doing. Modest lead at first.
There he goes.
Got a good jump. That was a good pitch to go on. Kind of off speed and in the dirt. Bobbled maybe a half second, if that, by Axel, which, if it only takes 3 seconds to get down there, it's an eternity. So,
good job holding the ball.
Picking a spot. Yep.
You don't want to throw it in center field for a guy who got no chance to get.
Mm-hmm. That is something I've noticed because, these JV games, they're lawless. They are getting kids experience. It's coaches to see what they got. I mean, shoot, we bat 14. Kids just kind of come and go as they please. We'll switch out, defenders trying to get, everyone some playing time. But, so I don't really look at, wins and losses. I look at a pop fly, long run for Jackson Dunn. Can't make the play. It'll land in shallow left. Calhoun will get it in, but so CNI single and a bloop single, and Chiefs have 2 on here in the bottom of the first with the JV Mustangs leading 1-0, but I don't get so much caught up in the wins and losses of it. It's more just see where are the fundamentals at, who's who's doing things right, and
Sure.
knowing when not to throw a ball is a skill. You might be kind of overeager, at the age,
Yep.
but really well disciplined. It's a pretty defensively sound club, I'd say, both at the JV and varsity level. That being said, I mean, they do have a whole column for errors. They will happen, but just going to the right base and try to get the lead runner as a double steal there. Successful. Runners on second and third. Still nobody down. So really haven't gotten good contact off of Porter yet. Second and third with nobody out, all the same.
Yep.
Strike is called. Like an ump that gives a good vocal indication.
Yes.
Hand signals. The works. You ever do any umping?
Pardon?
You ever do any umping?
But way back in the day, I used to ump Little League. I mean, when I was barely, I was still a teenager. And I did some umping at Scott Air Force Base, too, when I was stationed there. It's no fun. I mean, it's fun, but it's not,
That is first well-hit ball of the inning, and it comes at an inopportune time as it'll score a couple. Single laced into center field, puts the Chiefs on top 2-1. No fun upping?
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Even when I knew I wasn't having a good day, there was one. I remember one that just stands out. There was a pitch, and it was clearly a strike, and somehow I call it not a strike. I call it a ball. And all the dads standing behind the backstop all just went, oh. I can't repeat some. They weren't mad. They were just, holy cow, how could you miss that? And I knew it, but I didn't change my mind. You didn't have all these fancy cameras and everything that could prove otherwise.
I love the replay system. It's exciting.
You know what? In the major leagues, they tested that in spring training, where if the batter felt he got gypped by the ump, he could tap his helmet, and they would all look out at the big board and see the replay.
Strike in there.
There was one umpire. And, of course, that went away in the regular season. They were just testing it, although I'm sure it'll be in the majors next year. Because it's a pretty thrilling thing. We've seen that.
Yeah, in Memphis.
In Memphis, yeah.
The whole stadium stops, even the players. Everyone just turns and stares at the screen.
Yeah.
It takes about 4 seconds and move on.
And there's that
It's suspenseful. It's great. I loved it.
It is. And, if you're the hitter, you better not call for that if you're not pretty sure. And,
that's embarrassing.
Yeah, because you only get so many. If you lose the challenge after a while, if you
can't just abuse it.
Yeah,
just be up there. It's Bach is called.
Yeah. So at one series early in the season, the ump told players, if you tap your helmet out here in the regular season, I'm going to run you. And he ended up, they have the technology now can rank the umpires and tell how they did. And this guy missed 22 calls in the game.
That's a lot of calls.
That's a lot of calls. I can honestly say I never missed 22 ball and strike counts when I was umpiring.
You got it, Dane. Let's go, bud. Right there.
Single on the ground to Dunn at short.
All right.
Pulled Zach off the bag, but he just kind of held his ground on the base path for the out.
Well, he put the ball right where he could tag the kid instead of worrying about where his feet were.
Runner advances to third, but it is the first out of the inning. During that ump discussion, McCraw was doing a lot of checking on the runner and then balking him over to second. So
Yep. Oh, yeah.
My stance on
I was
this,
too busy talking.
My stance on the constant checking is well established. I won't belabor the point. Just feel, especially at this level, the risk reward is
right.
Not quite at the levels that I think that somehow didn't hit the kid, but it's a pass ball. Not sure what happened, but it's 3-1 Mag Heights. Looks like Kid almost did like a hula hoop on or something. I don't know if that went in front of him or behind him, but did not hit him.
It did not. A little conversation going on now.
Yeah, Coach Branch gonna talk things over with his battery. Mustangs had the lead in the top of the first, 1-0. Mag Heights has gotten 3 in the bottom with 1 down. Base is empty. The runner came in from third on the pass ball. Meeting adjourned. Is low and outside. Beautiful day here in Senatobia after a tumultuous week.
All that rain. Whew.
Record setting?
Apparently, yeah. Our backyard's still squishy.
Field's in great condition considering out here, though.
Yeah.
It's ball 4, and it's a 1-out walk.
It's a beautiful field. Well kept.
Well kept. Got a great view of the state champion sign, including the mythical 2020 state championship.
Well, you could call it, those are the years they did not lose the championship.
That's true. They're the only ones to think to claim it. You know, no one was stopping anybody.
Yeah, right. No one's going to.
They just called dibs. I mean,
yeah, take their word for it. I mean, they win enough.
I mean, yeah, it's
like the Yankees. If the Yankees threw a few extra years up there, nobody would notice. Well, not lately, right?
Been a minute.
Oh, it breaks my heart.
Uh-huh. AL East kind of sputtering out of the gate. And kind of 500-ish.
This early in the season, most are.
It's weird. You read too much into it. You know, you go 6-4 over a random 10-game stretch in August, and no one bats an eye. But you try to draw conclusions and everything when it's the first 10 games.
Yep. Got him.
Oh, what a ball through the hole in Tate McClellan's glove. That must have just appeared. You're right, he had him.
Well, you see the ball till you can't, because then the guy's coming at you too when
That's tough.
You're a little distracted. So
try again. It goes first base side of the bag. Try to keep that in the infield. We're on second. 3 runs in for the Chiefs this inning. 1 down. Be a unintentional pitch out. Axel's not afraid to sling it. Kind of looking eager. He wants to throw behind a runner. Strike in there for Porter. Nice pitch right at the knees. This is rare. I got a good look at high-low, but not so much the lateral movement.
Right.
Usually it's entirely the other way around. 3-2 is cut on and fouled back.
Plus the plate is dirty and it's obscured by a shadow from the light tower. So
yeah, that's really rough. It's going to be a lot easier to see in about 10 minutes. It's just parked right on there, isn't it?
Yep.
Outside, and Porter loses them. Be 2 on with 1 down here in the first. It's the lone JV game of the week. Varsity will follow, and the doubleheader of varsity will be at Pillow on Thursday. weather permitting. I haven't looked at the forecast. I just assume something's coming. It always is. Checking the runner again at second. Fairly close play. Border deals and loud foul ball. Off into the softball field.
So is Pillow looking into the torpedo bats?
I don't know.
That's the big thing right now.
It seems illegal, right? It seems like one of those things, like if that was legal, someone would have done that a long time ago.
Well, what led to it is they looked at where guys were making contact on the bat and finding out the sweet spot. They were hitting it more close to the label than the end of the bat, making contact. So if they
that is on the ground, ranging to his left was McClellan. It got through though. Throw's going to come into third. Runner scores. Runner will take second on the throw, and it is an RBI single. That puts runners ultimately on second and third, and it's 4-1 Chiefs. It's a couple of, where the middle infield doing all they can. We had one that got past Jackson there. That CNI single, the lead off the inning, and then, Tate there, he hasn't played well, and time to stretch just out of reach. Not much else he can do there. Inside is Porter.
You don't have the kind of intel they have in the major leagues on where a guy is most likely to hit it if he hits it on the ground.
Yeah.
In the major leagues, they see these guys looking in their hats all the time.
Kind of sawed him off a bit. It's effective, though, as Hoop single into right will score a couple. Makes it 6-1. Chiefs in the first. And I guess we're doing 6-run limit.
Must be.
Sometimes they do 3, sometimes they do nothing. I don't know, Wallace.
I've seen some of the ones with nothing. Yeah.
I don't even ask what's going on anymore. I just roll with it. So Mustangs get out of the first by hook or by crook. I'll take a quick break. Be back with the top of the second. We're back as Zach Russell is at the plate. Cut on and fouled way back. Back towards them. Looks like they're always improving this field out here. Looks like they got some old box seats out behind us there.
Oh.
That is hit into left, sends the left fielder back, makes the catch. He might have taken a few steps back after Goss caught him playing way too shallow, set one over his head. Pays off against Zach there, who had a good rip at that. Uh-oh. Braxton Harper, the 6-hole hitter. Switched it up on me. Braxton will
dig it.
Yeah, off the top of the bat there. Heck, the helmet goes flying. He was digging it, but out is made as it's eventually fielded by second over to first. Bring up the shortstop, Jackson Dunn. Two quick outs for the Mustangs. See a pitch in the dirt for ball one. Get out of there. Ready to pull the trigger, it just stayed high.
Yep.
Working quickly as this picture. Pretty similar pitch, called strike. Had a bit more break to it, took a little bit off, kind of floated over the plate. That hit him.
Wow.
Not hard, but tell by his reaction and the fact that he's going to first in the middle of an at-bat. Kind of maybe off the hand or jersey or...
He might have gone, oh, my arm.
Oh, my arm. Oh, looks good on you, though.
Great movie.
You can eat your fat. Swing and a miss for strike one. That's not Tate McClellan, that's Miller Calhoun. Jeez. He's been using the same 14-man lineup past few games to the point that I just don't go get it anymore. But some curveballs today. Nothing I can't fix, just got to be on point. It's Miller Calhoun at the plate, and he has a soft liner to second for the third out of the inning. Oh, Stings retired quickly, stranded one. Jackson Dunn was evidently hit and stranded at first. To the bottom of the second, Mustangs trail 6-1. See what kind of defense we're bringing out here. Looks like we're going to have a pitching change. As number 28, Braden Goss, will toe the rubber. Be pitching to 8th grader Michael Martin, Britt Anderson at first, Tate McClellan still at second, Jackson Dunn still at short, Finn Thomas, the new third baseman, left fielder Carter Goss still in center, Wyatt Moses, and in right, I'd imagine that's Luke Archer. Cannot tell at all. I am wrong. He turned around. I'm wrong. That is Braxton Harper still, number 35.
I was going to say, but I was waiting for you to notice.
Really hung me out to dry there, Dad. Jeez.
Hey, life is tough.
A little heads up there, gee. No, that's usually, typically, they'll swap. Keep the middle the same, except they do the catcher rotation with Axel and Michael, and keep the change out the left fielder, right fielder, first baseman, third baseman, but mixing things up here in the penultimate week of the season. Mustangs got Mag Heights this week and Rossville next week. And that should do it. I mean, we could always just sweep Mag and change everything up, I suppose, but so Goss hasn't seen a ton of time on the mound this year. It's one of the many developing arms. Can't have too many arms.
No, absolutely.
And especially it's another, kind of good thing some JV is good for, kind of the proving ground of, what arms are going to be still in use and in what capacity and all that. You need to see them against live pitching. So I think it's a good system that MAIS has here with the JV, and Coach Branch does a good job of juggling all that. Comebacker to Goss. He will jog over to Britt.
Well done.
And wish he would have flipped it a little bit sooner, but does make the out. Kind of
It's just suspense.
Suspenseful, yeah. It's got
Make the kid run.
flair for dramatic, yeah.
Make him think he's got a chance.
Playing with his food. So, quick out for Goss. Here in the bottom of the second, Mustangs trail 6-1. Chiefs got 6 runs on a first inning that just kind of ended. Seemingly arbitrarily. I've never heard of a 6-run limit, but good pitch there from Goss, going some heat kind of up and away, and seeing something slower inside. Goes back to that well, misses a bit outside, hitter lays off for ball 2. Well outside for ball 3. Looks like there will be some more permanent seating going into left field. Seems to be foundational stuff. Pops straight up. And that's a fair ball. Drops in front of Martin, fair territory.
That's a foul ball.
That
nobody touched it. It's a foul ball. It landed in fair, but it
didn't
pass third base.
Right.
It's just a
rolled back
ball.
foul. Good backspin there.
Backspin saved him.
A ton of backspin. You need backspin to get it to go straight up in the air like that. So.
And he had planned that, so it was a good pitch.
Yep. Kind of a second life this at bat though. It's now a full count. That's low when he lost him. And that's tough for Martin. Those are the hardest ones. The ones directly above your head, or like when you're outfield, the ones directly at you.
Yeah.
You're used to having to react and do something, and the hardest thing is to just stay put.
Well, it's all angles and stuff, and straight on, it's hard to tell sometimes.
I don't know how many of these boys are calculating hypotenuses in their head, but
no. Well, as the head of the math department, you think they'd work that into the curriculum.
Stop giving me more work to do. I think they'd have open revolt if I try to do that.
Oh, yeah.
That is in the air. Goss will try his hand at that. No, they won't.
Nobody called.
Don't communicate, and throw goes into second, and that is 2 balls that have landed total about 15 feet in front of the plate that have not been caught. So the runners on first and second. Outside for ball 1. And Martin will come out. Martin, the 8th grader. Try that again. The 8th grader. Conversation with sophomore Goss. Sophomore heavy JV club, and will be needed as a lot of seniors on this varsity club will be departing after this year.
Yep.
I would assume, at least. I haven't seen their grades, but I'd imagine they're passing. Kind of nibbling around the edges of the plate.
They're not biting.
Yeah, he's missing, but not by much. It's you're absolutely right. It's just excellent plate discipline. Just something we've come to expect from this club, and waits on his pitch.
Nice.
Handling that is Moses. Was hit a little harder than he thought, I think. Kind of went in on it and backed up a bit, but recalibrated and made the play for the second out. Oh, they changed the score to 5-1, so I guess it's a 5-run. Even though the 6th run had crossed, it didn't count because
once the 5th run.
That makes a lot more sense. 5-run innings I've heard of. 6 was strange.
So, game's closer than we thought.
Yep. Holding them here this inning. Just got one back from the first inning. Keep this up around the 7th inning or so. We're back in the lead.
We're golden.
Chopper. Tate kind of caught in between. He'll wait back on it with 2 outs just to get the sure play at first and retire the side. No damage done. Stings work around a couple of miscues. Let's go with that. But no damage done. So now it's 5-1. We got one back that inning. Didn't even have to do anything.
I call that a great half inning.
Mm-hmm. All right, we will take a break. Back with the top of the 3rd. Mustangs up to bat. I think Tate McClellan, but we'll see. We're back. Mag Heights used to have one of the best song rotations out of our conference. Play a lot of, heard some Allman Brothers here.
Oh.
Distinctly remember hearing Jackson Brown's Doctor My Eyes one time. It was great, but now they've gone to those kind of pre-programmed, you're listening to Chiefs Radio, like kind of pre-made DJ set kind of things. And it sounds cool. It's it's all official. Like, hey, we have a real radio station. But it's Doctor My Eyes is not coming on this station.
No, it's too bad too.
That's a shame. Brett Anderson, by the way, looks like he will be the plate with Finn Thomas on deck. Cut into this 4-run lead. Ball inside. We're about halfway through the allotted time here in this one. Sometimes do call them early. Sometimes after 5 they just call it. But the varsity game coming up, it's kind of a strict hour and a half just to keep things moving. Fouls it off and it's behind now 1-2. Can't catch up to the high heat and is down on strikes. Finn Thomas now. In the 11 hole. First pitch is popped up. See if it's contagious. It's not. As the infield pop up is handled for the second out. Bring up Michael Martin. Martin, the youngest regular player on this JV squad. There's 3 levels. So there's junior high, which is more of your 7th, 8th grade. Junior varsity, which is more of your, 9th, 10th, and then varsity 11th, 12th, and then anybody that's capable, certainly, despite the age.
Right.
Shoot, our dynasty soccer programs, I mean, we've had, girls start since they were 7th graders. If you can play, you can play. But typically how it goes. But Martin being the catcher, such an important position, and Brantley Counts, the senior catcher on the varsity squad, with Axel, the rising junior, will surely take over on the varsity club. It's really been good with how I think Coach Branch has been, really working Martin into, that cornerstone position. Does work the walk. His take the base, I thought, was I can't see his right hand, so to the back and to the left to continue the JFK theme that we're going with. Can't really see the right hand of the ump, so I was a little confused there. I'm like, pretty sure that was a ball. That's definitely a ball outside. Joe Martin works the walk. Carter Goss at the plate. That's a pretty good pitch there.
Not bad.
It's a single for Carter Goss into left field. Puts runners on first and second now. 2 down for Wyatt Moses. I guess Archer ain't here. Sorry, my app just kind of died, crashed, and now we're back. It was 1-0 and then fouled off, so now 1-1 as Wyatt Moses puts one right off the pretty enormous wall of fame they got here. They got to get a new one of those every year, too.
Wow.
We're always getting people drafted at whatnot. Third strike is dropped, but on to first for the out. Mustangs will strand a couple. And 5-1 we remain. All the scoring coming in the first inning. Braden Goss will come back out for his second inning of work. Was effective in the second. And would have gotten at it sooner. There was a couple of those infield pop-ups drops.
Right.
Kind of gave them two extra outs and still worked through that very efficiently. So Goss definitely making the most of his time. And he has pitched this year. Just, I've seen Jackson pitch a lot. I've seen McCraw pitch a lot. And a few others. Braden's probably the third most, but you are just limited with the playing time,
sure,
with the time limits and the run limits and everything, and swapping people in and out. But definitely making the most of his time on the mound here today so far. Back to our looks like our quote starting defense. Zach Russell at first, Axel Maddox behind the plate. Well, take that back, as Jackson Dunn now has moved to second as McCraw has left the mound. He's your shortstop. Finn Thomas At third and left is Miller Calhoun, and center is Wyatt Moses, and then right, I guess that's just Braxton Harper's, as Luke Archer don't think has entered this game.
Let's go, Dane.
First pitch is kind of floated in there off the mid of Axel Maddox. Where's that one? We're never not going to come away from even the easiest day at catcher without a few extra bruises on you.
Oh, yeah.
Something about his finger. Looks like Axel's leaving the game. Could hear the ump say something about a finger.
Yeah.
And heard Axel yelling to the dugout, say, Michael, go.
He knows he's done. Whatever happened to his finger.
Strange. It bounced off the dirt, and he caught it on the shoulder.
Right? Yeah.
And he picked it up, and you could see him fiddling with the ball. I thought he was maybe, checking, for dirt or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But, no, he came out quick. That's Kirkland Trahan's going to come out and just keep Goss warm here, as Martin, I'm sure, was not just sitting in the dugout in full catcher gear.
Right.
When it's not his inning, so he's got to get dressed. That was quick, actually. Good hustle. As Martin is ready to go, but definitely if you tune in for varsity, something going to have to find out, what that was all about. Just don't know when it would have happened, what and when a finger got involved there. And we're mid at bat, so that is fouled off to make it a 2-1 count. Michael Martin in at catcher. Axel Maddox had something with a finger. Last few pitches there from Goss just kind of stayed high. Didn't have much movement on them.
It's a little cool, too. It's hard to get a good grip.
Mm-hmm. Kind of, I don't want to say unseasonably cool, but yeah, definitely
It's
chillier
it's cooler
and windier.
than baseball weather.
Yeah, and windier than it's been. Oh, that was for sure a hit batter.
Yep.
Heard the thud.
Right between the 2 and the 1.
I'll settle for it, says Chiefs dugout. That'll work. It's as good as a hit. And it's runners on first and second with nobody down. Bottom of the third. 5-1 Chiefs lead, all scoring coming in the first. Things have settled down. Goss worked an excellent bottom of the second, but spot of trouble here. He's trying to get that movement back on his pitches, but he's kind of losing the zone as a result. That's in there. There we go. Now he's found it. 2-1 is popped up. Finn will call
Infield
it.
fly rule.
Yep.
Batter's out.
Infield fly was called. Got him in a pickle.
Runners advance at their own peril.
Yep. Infield fly was in effect. So batter's out.
But if the runners are running around,
if they leave the base, it's not a force out anywhere, but
you can and I've seen it happen where the
Yep.
infielder lets the ball drop
get
just
a
so they can get a force and maybe.
if you got you got a speedster on first,
Yep.
you let it drop, get him out
Yep.
on the force, and then get a slower guy in his place at first.
Yep. And of course the runners, they don't, half the time they don't know the infield fly rule, and they're just kind of, what do I do? What do I do? So there's potential there.
So it's still runners on first and second. The scoreboard says no outs, but infield fly was called, so despite the drop,
It was
batter's out.
Yep. Nice stop.
Infield fly, like you're saying, to prevent just leaving the runners with no choice but to get into potential triple play.
Right.
By just letting the ball land right in front of you.
Yep.
But it's kind of at the ump's discretion as to when that is called.
All right, you got it, Ray.
Well, if it's, it's playable by an infielder and umpire's judgment.
I'm trying to think. There was some, maybe not World Series, but playoff game probably 10 years ago now that there was a huge ordeal. That infield fly was called like in the outfield grass, and huge issue.
Well, I think the rule reads about ordinary if it can be caught
Without extraordinary
effort by an infielder. It's an infield fly, or whether it's on the dirt or just past the dirt.
All right, you got it, Ray.
Does not come up very often.
No.
2012 wild card game between Braves and Cardinals. Why do I remember that?
I don't remember it. And I was probably watching. But there's a lot I don't remember anymore.
Let's go, Tucker.
Like where I put my phone, stuff like that. Just gone.
I've got you those, what are they called? Those things that came out before AirTags. Little things that can beep, and tiles.
Tiles, yeah. I got one in my wallet.
Yeah.
Thanks to you.
That bug hasn't hit me yet, but usually all over it, but it causes little panic attacks whenever it does go temporarily missing. Didn't have my keys in my pocket over the weekend because didn't have a car, so there was no need for them, and constantly whoa, where are they? Where are they? Caught the knees there, I guess. Good pitch.
Mom will tell you whatever I lost, I'll find it in the 7th or 8th place, I think.
Gets away, and everyone's up a base, and Chiefs do get that 6th run back. He's going to come into play in JV. It certainly will come into play in varsity. So you see how easy it is to advance with all this room.
Yep.
Gets out in front of that. Stopped by Finn. He
just looks him back.
It's not a force, so
he got him. Yeah.
Pickle well handled.
Nice.
And quickly does not allow the runner to take second in the chaos.
Perfectly executed.
Can tell what really happened. Again, never been able to see third base here, but I think fouled a bit by Finn. He stopped it, but didn't field it cleanly, didn't have a play at first.
Right.
Runner kind of caught in between, and
And they took advantage of the situation. The runner's like, what's going on here?
one does score on the play, though, yes.
Yep.
So now 7-1, but 2 down and a runner on first. This is upstairs. Count's now full. I think it's not so much that it's that chilly out here, it's just blowing right at us.
Yeah.
That's slow and gets away. Well, I had 3-2. The scoreboard had 3-2.
Lucky dog, you can read the scoreboard. I can't read it. I got my glasses on.
Are you serious?
I can't read it. Yeah.
I can read all the billboards out there.
Oh. I see one that
Extreme
says BPA. That's about it.
Extreme Auto Sales. Leanne Derby. Secure Storage.
In my defense, these are old glasses because I broke my new ones, my newer ones.
How'd that happen?
They're just flimsy.
Oh.
I wanted more of a wire frame kind of thing, and they eventually gave up the ghost on the hinge.
Oh, they
So-
broke. You didn't break them. I thought you were
Oh,
just...
I didn't break them. No,
Okay.
not the glass.
You didn't just,
the
just throw them against the
frames,
wall or
yeah.
something?
No, nothing like that. So these are my previous ones.
Got 2 on here in the bottom of the third. Popped up. Boy, there's been so many of these. Calling off everybody is the shortstop Porter, who makes the play and tires the side. Due up was Axel Maddox. Imagine it will not be, as he left the game in the middle of an at-bat due to a finger issue. So stay tuned to see who exactly will be leading off this inning. We'll head into the top of the fourth. Coming up on 5 o'clock. Shouldn't have too much longer left in this one. Varsity scheduled for 6 p.m. Well, that's
Wow.
So we'll be leading off the top of the fourth,
Tape it up.
I suppose. Wonder if he had like a cut or something that just, or like a blister or something that popped and
Could be.
just, I don't know. Won't speculate, but glad he's seemingly fine. I want to know what happened in 2017. Got Mag Heights state champions 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19,
Whoa.
20, 21, 22.
Whoa.
Well, what happened there? They won it during COVID, but not in 2017.
No.
Hope I muted that in time. ACDC blocks stuff on YouTube.
Oh,
That's
jeez.
having a tough day out
It's like,
there, is
hey.
Axel.
My arm.
Left the game due to injury, came back to bat, and first pitch plunks him. Crop Porter. Step in. Just a pitch high. Eagles are also notorious YouTube blockers. And last night filmed the senior play. It's Wizard of Oz, except you can't call it that. Fouled off.
Oh.
And, in between, as they're doing scene changes and everything, Hartley Kittle, who ran the camera for football and basketball and everything for him for a few years, had a great idea. It was very clever. He played Witchy Woman by the Eagles a lot in between them.
Very good.
Which was great until I realized that, that's not going to be allowed on YouTube. So you check on YouTube, you can see all the scene transitions cut out, and we have
Oh my.
yeah, Gossamer fades and everything. Like we went all out this year for that stream.
Wow.
But yeah, really annoying when rock and roll guys just don't want.
How much more money
apparently
does
gigs?
Don
You know
Henley
what?
need?
Yeah, it's just
Come on.
and who do they?
Yeah.
Do they really think that someone's trying to how many people are there trying to profit off of copyright and strange. Luckily, it's a very vocal minority. Inside, and Porter works the walk. Do you have a favorite Eagle?
Favorite Eagle?
Like some more than some songs more than others.
Well, you could go through. I wore out vinyl on Eagles' greatest hits.
You and 100,000 millions other people too.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought they really turned a corner. I liked them before Joe Walsh, but I thought he brought a whole new dimension.
Have an unexpected missing ingredient.
Yeah. They were nice, almost kind of easy listening before that.
Oh, sure. Chopped to short, flip to second for one. Going to be tough, but
dang,
probably would have beat that out anyway. But nifty little turn there by the
nice turn
second baseman. Get the out at second on the fielder's choice. So runners on the corners for Tate McClellan. So Maddox on third, and Zach Russell. And that's the second hit batter of the inning as McClellan is hit, and the bases are now loaded. There we go. That's more like it. We have Zach Russell now at bat. That was Braden Goss, who's now at second. Axel on third. Tate on first. And new pitcher on the mound. Yeah. It's, just kind of like we saw, not to that degree, but with Braden in the previous inning, just having kind of a little trouble with the command there. It's just not quite there today. So there were a couple of plunks, early exit. It happens. I remember who we were playing. There was one where both pitchers had a case of that. There's like 7 hit batters.
Wow.
And all of them just super soft curveballs that weren't curving.
That didn't break, yeah.
Yeah. It's like both pitchers decided to work on their curveball on the same day, and neither one of them had it.
And you got to start it at them if you're a right-handed pitcher and
Yep.
a right-handed hitter. It just doesn't break. They're not throwing at people. but they're
No,
trying
and when it hits you, it's really nothing.
yeah.
As
Just
a
trying to get a
result, but,
feel
yep.
for it, get some break on it. And you got to figure out what's going wrong with it. Is it a release point or grip or what? So, and especially at this level. I mean,
Yes,
they're
that's what
they're
it's
still
for. That's
learning.
yes, exactly. You gotta game test that stuff.
Yep.
Can't all just be practice. And if it's not biting, you can't shy away from it, or it'll never get better. You gotta just
Yep.
go through the lumps, and the opposing batters gotta get their lumps as part of the process. But hey, that's JV ball.
Yep. Remember the early days of the Colorado Rockies, pitchers were all complaining that their breaking stuff wasn't working in that light atmosphere. And thus the Rockies were getting pounded and pounded and pounded, but they eventually figured it out, I guess.
I'm going to try blaming air on my next failure.
I think they had a special way of storing the baseball.
They had the
system.
humidifiers, yeah.
Yeah. They figured that out on the fly.
Fouled away. Russell staying alive after 2 quick strikes.
I think a muskrat just ran off with that one. Down there at the edge of the woods.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. Second out of the inning. Be Braxton Harper now. Bases Chuck. Mustangs have not scored since the top of the first. Getting towards the later part of this game one way or another. Nice to see Harper cash some of these runners in. Nasty pitch there. I mean, what is the left-hander supposed to do with that?
Nothing.
Ends up like right as knees and kind of got him off, bit off balance now. 2 quick strikes. Thought about it, couldn't pull the trigger, and caught the outside corner for strike 3. Mustangs will leave him loaded. Martin will come back out behind the plate. Stay here, wait and see who will be throwing to him. It'll be Bennett Barnes. Barnes getting some work in on the mound. Bennett see him at first base probably at some point this series for the varsity club. A junior, left-hander. Some occasional work on the mound, and that's also what JV's for. You can kind of,
Sure.
almost like where they send a pitcher down to the minors to keep them, for one game just to keep them on schedule.
Right.
Kind of Bennett kind of making a bit of a cameo to get some that all-important live action.
Well, they're all part of the same program.
Exactly.
You just simply can't get that kind of work in, with just one varsity squad. That's why you have this.
Yep.
Guys can learn, work their way up with it.
Make your mistakes here. None of this matters.
No.
It's all lawless.
Yep.
You guys are working on stuff, almost like a, spring training ball almost, where
Yeah.
I always love when they, I forget who, but some pitcher, they were, laying into him like, what's wrong with him? His ERA is, 9 is, you just paid him all this money. He's like, yeah, no, I'm trying a new pitch. Like, I'll be fine. Like, when the games matter, like, I'll, like, I don't care what my spring training ERA is.
I do this long enough, it'll be as sweet as I want it to be, yeah.
Bennett Barnes on the mound, Michael Martin behind the plate, Brett Anderson at first, Jackson Dunn, and we back to Tate. Yeah, up the middle. Braden Goss at third, Carter Goss, no relation, in left, center field, Wyatt Moses, and I'm going to guess still Braxton Harper in right. Fool me once, shame on you. Let's see what Barnes got. Cliff, if you are on your way, step on it. And quickly is Bennett. Misses high, misses low. So it's looking at Goldilocks it. Should be just right. Popped up. Giving chase is Britt, but it will fall out of play. An inordinate amount of fly balls to the general infield area. That one did go foul, but so it means we're getting them the just missing some stuff, getting weak some weak contact, but that big inning in the first, there was one real good hit ball.
Right, they've only squared. I was just trying to think of when they've actually squared up.
There was a single.
Yeah.
As it's going to be a leadoff walk from Barnes.
A lot of weak contact.
Diving around, just out of the reach of short, just out of the reach of second.
Yeah, a good amount of hit him.
Broken bat, if it was a wood bat, little flare the opposite way.
Right.
Scored 2 runs and just terrible contact. That is through, and runner will take second. And it's a bit of a turn, but we'll stay put.
To their credit, they've been able to take advantage of it. Squeezing some juice out of that lemon.
This Mag Heights club will get blood from a stone.
Yeah.
Always, and it's kind of their reputation. And you don't want to get too intimidated by the jersey. There's
right.
Still got to play them, but it's really just the way they're coached, the way they're run. It's their they will take advantage of any mistakes that you make, for sure, and they really don't need that help. So, for starters, is you got to be on. You cannot just give them anything.
Right. Nice job out in center.
Yep, it's Wyatt Moses, sure-handed as ever. We'll see him in the varsity matchup. Says he is the one of the two. He, along with Barlow, it's in there for a strike from Barnes. Courtesy runners, as the pitchers and catchers get courtesy runners, so they don't have to hang out on the bases. That is passed, and it's now a triple, that leadoff walk. Pass balls start to mount up a bit. The 1-1. High, nice snag there. Saved a run. Just got a piece of that. Fouls it off for the second strike. It's worked. Count even 2-2. We're on third with one down. Bottom 4. Side for a full count. Going for about an hour 10. Hit to center. Long run for Moses. He won't get there. I mean, he read it well. He was on it from the get-go.
He got there, but
just out of reach of everybody. Just no man's land there.
Mm-hmm.
Again, didn't exactly tear the cover off of it, but it's an RBI all the same.
Yep.
It's 8-1 Chiefs. Swing and a miss there. Well, how do you do to runner on first? Bennett 0-2 with authority here in this at-bat. Jinxed him. Misses high for ball one.
A little high. Oh, yeah.
Comes back and gets him swinging for the second out. Man, did not see Bennett well at all. He was very fooled that at bat. Good job, Bennett. For one more out. Long looking at the runner and lands low. They didn't have those back in my day.
Let's see. If only there were a way to protect the instep.
That's got some good movement here today. As you see these hitters, their eyes are lighting up a bit, and they're just catching air. Call that a strike. I'll take it.
You got him here. Oh. Next pitch.
That one to waste, so full count now.
Ooh.
That walk does, his base is no longer open, so adds a few more forces in to play. With two down. This being the bottom of the fourth.
Good hit, Colton. Good hit.
Just hold that thought as we'll wait and see. Everyone's kind of
They're not hitting
in the wait and see mode.
Okay. At least one Mag Heights kid thinks they're going to be playing here. Okay.
I'm sure. Jackson Dunn will the leadoff hitter. We're not going to break it, as imagine if we're going to do this inning. I'm sure they're, going to have them warm up kind of quick and get this moving as the main event is upcoming here. Varsity Game 1 at 6. Been a while since I've seen a JV game going to 5 innings. It hasn't been particularly quick moving, too. I mean, shoot, there were 6 runs scored in the first inning.
Right. And it's been pretty even up since then.
You know what? I bet this is talking over, wanting to get his kids one more look at is some of the better pitching they may see this year. So just the kind of the
give them some reps.
Exactly. So we're around the middle of the 14, 13-ish man lineup. Jackson Dunn, first pitch swinging, is on to third, pumps and fires. One pitch, one out. As Dunn is retired, we'll bring up Miller Calhoun. Fouled off.
Yeah. Can't offer it that, but smoke.
Down on strikes goes Calhoun and Britt Anderson. We'll look to dig deep and hit us a 7-run homer here to keep this game going.
That would be sweet.
Instead, I'll look at strike one. Fouled off.
Nice snag.
Yeah, it's a web gem from Coach Trahan. Not only are web gems gone, you see that baseball's leaving ESPN entirely.
Yes, I saw that.
Good. They're pretty, not really passive aggressive, just plain old aggressive in the statement, saying like, "Look, why you got rid of baseball tonight? Like, you don't promote our product like at all. You bury us. Like, why would we want to sign with you again? We'll go to some place that appreciates us."
Mm-hmm.
Full count pitch to Anderson.
Well, I think MLB Network
rung him up.
Stole a lot of their thunder.
Down on strikes goes Britt, and that'll do it. Dad, I had fun. Thanks for coming to join me for that matchup.
Thanks for the invite. I enjoyed it.
Wish we had a better score for y'all, but 8-1 it is. Game one of the varsity coming up. I think Cliff's going to be back on the mic, for that. But I think I announced to you the very first thing in the game and then just failed to mention again. I'm John Benuzowitz, and for the other John Benuzowitz, thanks for joining. That's it for JV till next week. One more game for them, and game one against Mag Heights upcoming for Varsity Mustangs. We'll be back probably right on time around 6, so stay tuned. We'll be back then.